Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Monica. I'm a tarot reader and astrologer based in Australia. And in today's video, I am looking at a very common scenario that is faced by readers or practitioners of tarot, and that is getting advice from the cards specific to a challenge or an issue that you have in your life. I mean, that is the bread and butter of tarot readings, essentially. People don't come to see a reader because everything is going great in their life. I mean, there's a very small minority of people that do that, but generally speaking, people come to see a reader because they have a very difficult situation or scenario, a complication, a complex issue, and they're not able to get guidance from perhaps a professional in that field, or they're more comfortable with the setting of a tarot reading for various reasons. So one of the ways that I do a spread when it comes to a particular issue, well, there's a couple of ways actually that I look at. One is a 3-card spread, and that's really a fantastic way of looking at an issue and just asking the cards for guidance on what to do about that particular issue. And the other one is to ask 2 questions and draw 1 card each. And that's what I have in front of me. So in this video, I am looking at my tarot practice for the past few weeks, both for myself, which is what this 2-card draw here is on, and also one that I did a reading for someone. And I will look at that in the second part of this video using the same technique. So I should say that this isn't live in the sense that I haven't just drawn these cards. I actually did this spread a couple of weeks ago, and I drew these cards and I thought it's a really good example of tarot in practice. You know, when tarot is offering a real clear answer of guidance for me. So before I start, you know me, I like to enjoy my tea when I do these videos. And to clarify, I am using the Llewellyn Tarot here. And I'm not going to go into details as to what a particular scenario is, but because it's such a common issue, I mean, this could be about a relationship, it could be about a business, it could be about a job, it could be about your child, it could be about any aspect of life where, as life happens, we have an issue that is really challenging. And so what I did here is I asked 2 questions. The first card is advice from me on what to do, and the second card is advice from me on what not to do. And I like this because straight away there is no ambiguity. You know, when you ask a question like, what should I do about the situation? Sometimes there can be confusion, particularly if you get negative cards. You know, is there something that I should be doing or I shouldn't be doing? Or, you know, that's come up, at least for me, when I was learning tarot. It could be a point of confusion, and also with clients as well. So I split it up into 2. That way we know exactly what each card is for. So the first question, advice from me on what to do, I received the Knight of Swords. Now in the second question, advice from me on what not to do, I received the Death card. So, what is striking about this reading and why it makes a really great example about this particular way of practicing tarot is that straight away visually, these 2 cards actually have a lot in common. A person on a horse. A person, I mean, well, it's death, so it's not a living person, but still, it's someone on a horse. Okay? But really, that's where the similarities end. And then we start looking at the layers of like, what's the differences between these 2? Okay. The differences are, straight off, this is a minor arcana and this is a major arcana. Now, this doesn't tell you much in terms of being a pragmatic answer. But it's important nonetheless, and I'll touch upon that later. But when we look at these two cards, one is much more action-driven than the other. Can you see how in this Knight of Swords here, the protagonist in the card is taking charge and they're going for something. They're really moving fast. In fact, the horse is at a gallop, and that person has their sword drawn, prepared for action, prepared to take on anything that might come their way. They are ready. They're wearing their armor and they are ready. They're ready to tackle the challenge. They're not backing away from anything. Okay? They're not taking it easy. They're not laid back. They're not allowing the universe to take care of it. They are going for it. And the second card, here we have a bit more of a quieter scenario. There isn't that sense of going for something. In fact, I can almost feel the silence and the quietness surrounding this character. And, you know, you've got the dogs here being a bit more animated, but really the horse and the rider are sort of slowly going through the forest. That's the vibe that I'm getting from this. And to me, that is the key for the advice, really. It's like, yes, go for it. Yes, meet the challenge full on. Don't back away from it. Don't shy away from it. Be prepared to take action. Be ready and prepared for anything that comes your way. Don't just, sit back, lean back, and, allow the universe to do its thing. If it works out, fine. If it doesn't, well, it wasn't meant to be. That's really common out there. And I think that these two cards are really advising very clearly on what to do and what not to do, at least to me. Although I'm happy to hear any feedback or any comments from the audience, which is you watching this video. The other thing I want to mention is this issue around the minor arcana versus the major arcana. And my intuition really told me that, and this is only for me, that I'm feeling the pull of doing this. This is like a really big energy for me. Sometimes where you just go, it is what it is. Let it be. Let the universe take care of things, and so on and so forth. Like, that's a really dominant force here, as opposed to this one, which is about taking charge and you doing it, you going for it. For me, there's a bit of a conflict energy around this. This sort of character invites conflict almost through their nature and their stance, and I really don't like that. But it doesn't matter whether I like it or not, because that's what I have to do. Okay, I really have to assume this stance. And as much as I might be drawn towards this is what not to do, right? So I don't know. What are your thoughts? I'm always open to other people and what they see, but of course, ultimately, tarot is that sort of experience of that particular time and that particular place when the reading is done, and the instant energy or the instant message that sort of comes through. And that's what really came through for me at that particular moment in time. So this was for me. Now, I also have a second example, and that is of someone that I did a reading for. Now, I'm going to put the cards here, like so. And this is the Wild Unknown Tarot, which is the indie second edition that I'm using here. So a brief background to the scenario is that I had someone who's going through really difficult life circumstances, to the point where I got the sense from what they were describing and their message around that they weren't at breaking point and they hadn't given up, but you sort of almost feel like it's sort of ominously in the background, that particular energy. And it was interesting because when I came to do the reading, I was looking for a deck. You go through your collection and you sort of, there's always a deck that jumps out, or you're sort of drawn towards that for whatever reason, the energy. But this wasn't one that I thought would for that particular scenario or for that particular reading, and yet I just really felt drawn to it, and I just wanted to make a note of that, because with decks like the Wild Unknown, because they are animal based and they're not people based, it might put some people or some readers off initially, simply because, my scenario deals with a real person, with real life situations. And this deck to me has always struck me as more of a quieter spiritual work type deck. But on the day, this is what I reached out for. And I had to stay true to that and not just put it back, which I sort of contemplated, to be honest. Because it was almost daunting to use this deck. But anyway, I thought, you know what? No, I'm going to be true to that. I pulled this deck out. And these are the two cards that I received. On what to do, I got the Strength card. And on what not to do, I got the Tower. And I can almost see you nodding or feel you nodding. But yes, what to do. So my guidance for this person was, you really have to call upon your strength and your fortitude to make it through. You really have to. It's a major arcana card, but both are in this instance. Both these cards are major arcana cards. The Strength card is when you really pull on your inner strength and everything you've got to throw at life. Okay? What not to do was the Tower. And to me, this is like, my guidance was, you might feel like breaking down. That's the Tower. But your guidance is to not do that. Don't break down. Don't let everything collapse around you, even though you feel that way. And she actually said to me, she said that the day when she had another particular difficult life situation come up, she actually said, for the first time, I really didn't want to get out of bed. And this is someone who gets up early every day. Their work requires them to get up early every day. But also getting up early, to enjoy life and to be a part of it. But she actually said, yeah, the most recent issue that had come up in a long line of issues. So it's not like they've met a challenge in life for the first time and, they're giving up. They've actually had months and months of recurring issues, and then there was a new one. And she really felt like, I just don't want to deal with life anymore. But the cards are, the advice is to call on your inner strength. Okay? And I really like this card as well because I love the sun. This card is devoid of color except in two places: the sun above and the Lemniscate symbol on the forehead, on the mind. So it's letting you know that, look, life is there behind you, even though you're going through these really, really excruciating, painful experiences. And supporting you. You might not feel it. And yes, you have to draw on your inner strength and keep on going. But what you cannot do is to completely break down, to walk away from it all, to destruct everything, to take like a sledgehammer to it all and just, leave everything behind. That is what you are not to do. And the cards were very, very clear on that. Okay. So here we have, with the Tower, we've got this like lightning strike that strikes the tree, and it's like, it's starting to burn. The flames are starting to take a hold of it. And if left unchecked, the whole tree, the whole structure will burn down to ashes. That is what you're not to do. So I really wanted to showcase how practical tarot can be when it comes to dealing with difficult challenges in life. Because there's just so much out there on YouTube, and, you know, even on TV, and people using cards, loads of videos. There's millions of videos on the use of tarot. But I think that where tarot really shines above many other oracular systems, particular card systems like oracles, is with its structure and with how we ask the questions, and therefore how we interpret the cards in relation to those questions. And these two examples, which are real life examples, are very, very useful. At least they were to me, and I hope they are to you as the viewer, on the brilliance of tarot as a divination system, as a self-help and self-development system to guide us through, you know, what can feel like insurmountable or overwhelming life challenges. Okay, so with all that being said, I'm gonna go and finish up my tea. And as always, thank you so much, everyone, for joining me. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your support. Until my next video, take care.